Greetings, Internet. We're here with founders of Barrels of Fun Pinball. Introduce yourselves, please.
I'm David Van Ness. I'm the CEO of Barrels of Fun, and this is Brian Savage, and I'm the Chief Business Officer of Barrels of Fun.
So how did you guys originally meet to then come up with this?
But wasn't it a one ad, a pinball guy looking for another pinball? No, that's not right. So I had to sell my home use only, non-faded Doctor Who pinball machine because I was having a kid. And he one of the first 100 with the moving copper.
Yep, there's a mod too.
And he collected pinballs, I had pinballs, and the relationship started from there. Yeah, so I bought the machine from him, that's how we met. And I tried to not sell it, like I didn't really want to sell it, and it was basically, how long did it take? I don't know, but I used my child that really wanted a Doctor Who machine, you know, on him. He's going to appreciate it. Yeah, he had to give in.
That's a good angle. I bought pinball machines before and said, in the deal, I said, this is for my dad.
Yeah.
And then it usually works. So you did a pinball deal.
Yep.
And then you were already in the pinball business?
Not really. I was still working film and TV.
Okay.
I started when Wizard of Oz came out. I started doing an LCD, and then I started basically reaching out to pinball companies saying, "Hey, if you want a consultant to help you with, if you want to put an LCD in the game, I'm not looking for money. I'm happy to consult. Just reach out to me." And while we were always talking about pinball, because again, when you buy pinball, you start collecting pinball, and then like you want to call up your friend and go, "Hey, did you see this game?" Right. So that's how our relationship began. Well, and then we kept seeing these lists coming from Europe of containers of machines. So I said, "Hey, how about we buy a container of machines for people that want to refurb the game?"
That's right.
So we got it. It was mostly okay. A few things were not, and then we found out that people's idea of refurbing the machine was taking the glass off, wipe it down, and put the glass back on. So, but we got out of it okay, and I got a bunch of machines out of it. So that was really our first business thing we did together. And by that time, you were working for Spooky. Yep. So I'd worked my way through multiple other little pinball companies, and COVID came along and totally flipped the world upside down. And I stepped away from the world at that point, and because I was doing licensing, I had licenses still coming to me saying, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this license?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not doing it anymore, but I'll pass it off to people I know that can do it." And he goes, "Hey, dummy, why don't you do it yourself?" And I'm like, "No, because it's stupid and hard, and it's expensive." And it took, what, 3 times? Yeah. And I got to the point, all right, let's do the business plan. I'm going to show him how this doesn't plan. And he was like, "Well, Brian, the numbers don't lie." It is stupid and hard, but the numbers can work out if you do it right. Yeah. You know. So we figured, well, let's give it a go, and that's how I had a relationship with Henson and numerous other licenses, and that just seemed to be the right one that we thought no one would see coming, and we knew that because we had a good partnership with them, that they would allow us to do the right job by telling their story. Because our design philosophy is, we look at the IP, we want the IP first. You know, in the older days, and still some today, they take a design that somebody brings them and they slap an IP on it. Well, that doesn't do anything for the IP. You know, the intellectual property IP, some people may not know what that is. You need to do what is best for that intellectual property.
That's your job.
It is
that's your number one job.
Because, number one, the licensees don't make any money from pinball, okay? It's a vanity product for them. So if it's going to be a vanity product, it better be something that's very nice, that everybody wants, so it represents their brand. And so that's what you're going after. And we really feel we're the stewardships of them. And we've turned licenses down where it was literally just, here's the logo, you pay us money, and it's like, it's a big name, but it's like, if we can't tell the right story, and if we can't get the right assets, it's like, I mean, Brian and me are really frustrated storytellers, and we really are trying to take their story and tell it in a physical form, and that's how we approach everything.
And that's what we're talking about, sculpts.
Yeah.
Not just plastics, because plastics is like a thing from the 70s, 80s, and then the 90s. I mean, from the past 30 plus years, you should have sculpts. Well, the elements of the license protruding. Right. Well, you look at Labyrinth, and you know what I like to say is we built a world and then we put glass over it. That's it.
It's one of those things of you got to look at a pinball machine or any arcade machine. It's an attraction poster.
So think of a movie, you see an attraction poster, you want to see it. So you see a pinball machine, oh, that looks interesting. Or I remember that movie. You go up to it, then you look into the playfield. And if you see all these sculpts that you remember from that license, you're like, oh, I remember this and this. And then you want to drop that coin and you'll hit start. And that's how we get to it, you know? And that's why, again, we approach it as like, it's got to hit the nostalgia for the person. You know, if we can't be passionate about making the game, we're probably not going to do it.
Yeah, we shouldn't make that game.
Shouldn't make it.
If you what?
If we're not passionate about that, and
Oh,
want to
no,
copy
don't.
that IP, then we don't need to make that game.
Because it doesn't make business sense. If you're doing it just for money, you'll lose interest faster if it's a passion project. And
Now, don't get us wrong. We do it for money. It is important to get the money.
I need to
because
make my
otherwise,
wife happy.
yes, his wife needs to be happy.
And
So
the thing is, it's like we truly believe we work with so many talented people that we really believe we pull these people together and we make a good product, the money will come. Obviously, we've got to stick to budgets and stuff like that, but it's the team that we built. It's not me or Brian. It's like the team that we've worked with and we've cultivated. That's what's number one, you know. And to go in every day and see them fired up and get on meetings, it's just like that's why we do it, because we're passionate about telling great stories, making a fun game, and getting people to smile and have fun. I mean, how often do you see someone walk away a game frustrated? With Labyrinth, you see people smiling, stepping away because this little fiery comes out of the apron, taunts you, which was this guy's idea at the very end. It's like, we have this extra fire, what are we going to do
where
with
do we put
it?
it here?
Let's put it on the apron. It's like, okay, let's do it. And when you see young kids and wives walk away excited about playing a game that they just lost their last ball and they want to do it again, that makes, you know, how can we do that again?
right, and if you want something really funny, then if you have a high score, put in the name Fart.
Yep, 100%.
what's the response been from the operators of the reaction from the customers, earnings? Like, they're happy overall?
Yeah, I mean,
so we've had multiple distributors tell us they've never had so many female first-time buyers of pinball machines with Labyrinth. And that really says something that we touched a demographic that is not hugely in this space. And that makes us truly happy because now we're growing the market, because when you get one, you're going to get two.
yeah,
three.
and every husband, when the wife says, honey, I think we need to get that pinball machine, they reach for their wallet.
Yep. Again, this is about an experience. We're making experience, interactive experiences.
What was the process of building the team? You already knew enough people to build the team already?
So I worked in pinball for about 9 years, and I've worked with, I think, some of the best people in the industry. So there was always contract based. So I would work with them, and they're going to do something else. So when I stepped away, it was like, who do I trust? Because when you do a pinball machine, there's a lot of trust involved.
Right.
Like, A, they can't talk about the project.
Nope.
You know, they've got to be passionate about what they're doing. And all these people, I wanted to work with again. I mean, at the end of the day, I really just wanted to work with people that I truly trust. So it's literally call them up, hey guys, I'm working on this game. And they go, okay, is it a homebrew? It's like, no, we want to bring this to market. They're like, not gonna happen. But you know what, Dave? We love working with you. Let's do it. Like, if we get to play one game and win a full game, that's awesome. That's awesome. And like Bill, when we worked up at Houston, the Chicago Pinball Show, he came up and was like, you guys actually did it. Like, to this day, there's people that still didn't believe we were going to bring it to market, you know? But the whole product exists because of the team that I've worked with, and I believe in them, and I gave them the tools to be successful.
So you guys, your vision is it's happening. And other people involved might have not seen the pull through, like that might be one or two.
Well, if you look historically in the industry, as of late, there have been multiple people that have gone online and said, I'm doing a pinball company, I'll take you along my journey, I'm going to be transparent and blah, 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 and 3 years later they have nothing.
They
They've taken people
Because they're not
money.
business people.
Zip, yep.
You know, and so they've taken people's money.
A lot of money,
So-
millions of
right, and
dollars
that's
gone.
why, yes.
That could have been
In somebody else's
in
game.
games at work. You
Yeah.
know.
And it's sad because one thing we used to be passionate about, and when we were looking at the market, why we wanted to do it, we always look forward to new game launch because we didn't know what Stern was doing. So we would call up and go, hey, did you see the new Toronto launch,
Right.
Rolling Stones? and we'd be excited about. Nowadays, there's so many people involved that you kind of know what's coming out, and that excitement is kind of gone. And a part of what we want to do, part of the collective basis, we want to drop games out. No one has any idea what's coming. That's why, like, a lot of companies, you can see where they're going with the licenses they work with. With us, we made sure we're going to completely.
Yeah, our next set of licenses, you won't guess where we're going at all.
But that's the fun of it, because we want you guys as excited about the game launch. It may not be for you, but we can make sure you'll be excited. You'll be pouring over the photos and seeing what it can do, and we'll be driving you to the arcade or your distributor to go and play.
Yeah, new game day, launch day, the official media online. It's a big day for all of us, and we only get it 10 days a year, 7 days a year, and that each day that's added to the year, it's kind of like a little holiday for us pinball people. And there's philosophies of, we'll do a little picture here and there. Sometimes, they do the mini trailers. How's marketing been? How is it? What is it? Just the game sells itself, or is it the shows that sell it more? I mean, what's working to build?
What we had to be careful of, and we started with a tease, not a tease about the game particularly. There were hints about the game, but it was really tease about the company. The company coming. Because again, when we showed up and announced this stuff, and showed up at Expo with games in the box, which is something no one else has ever done, particularly not a new company, it's always like, well, we'll be shipping games in a month or 2 months or 3 months or whatever.
Or it's an empty box.
Yeah, but we needed people to have confidence in what we're doing, because we're not here for 1 game or 2 games. We're here for a long time. And so we were very careful with what we did. We wanted to tease the company, but also tease the game. And so we also know, you gotta, when the iron's hot, you gotta strike. So you don't have this long window of keep talking about it and talking. That's the problem with leaks in the industry. Either they're wrong, they're too far out, and by the time a game comes out, the game that you've built in your head, no manufacturer can build that game, because you've decided what all should be in it, and now it doesn't meet your expectation. We'd much rather go like, ta-da, and you go like, wow, it's great, because you didn't have 3 months to think about what should be in that game.
Right.
And we got to build trust. And right now we're building that trust, and by building that trust is customer support and shipping games. So as people see that we're real and we're not going anywhere, and we're going to support our game after we've shipped it, they'll be more confident in game 2 and game 3.
Yeah, and as we stated last year, we will have shipped 750 games by the end of this year. No other new manufacturer has done that either.
They've said some bold stuff. I don't want to say bold.
Anybody can make 10 games, 15 games, 100 games, but try making 750 in a year. See what you think about that.
And we've had not issues, but it's caused we had to re-strategize. Being this successful,
it was kind of our own enemy.
It's our own enemy, because now we had a goal of what we were going to do, and what we got was way more than we anticipated. So we had to start now. Okay, we want to set this margin of what we want to do. Here's our goal line. With the success and the demand that we have, we had to now reinvest and grow even more than we anticipated. I mean, we are in over 19,000 square feet, and we're looking to expand
already.
Again, because we need the space to keep up with the demand that we have. That's not including game 2 or game 3. So we're planning ahead.
That's currently.
Or 4 or 5.
Yeah. So we got to plan, and we don't really want to grow too much more. We just want to be efficient, so we can deliver games to customers
in a timely manner.
So they're not disappointed. Because if you have to wait for your game longer than 13, 14 months, that is soul crushing. As a collector, we're collectors. If you can't get that game immediately or within 9 months, it's kind of defeating. And we were trying to make better, because we made lots of mistakes, to make that a better experience for the customer.
And it's not just a business, and you're not just having a pinball company. You're collectors, enthusiasts.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about the fandom element, that if you're going into business, especially for pinball, you have to balance your fandom / business acumen.
You have to have you can have your fan hat on sometimes, but sometimes you have to put on your business hat and make decisions that you may not like. For instance, like, he might want a title to do a title that I don't know anything about, or I have no affinity for, but it's like, I trust you, let's do that, okay? And I'll help do whatever crazy mechanism, because I'm kind of the crazy mechanism guy, and I'll come in and go, can we do this? And they'll go, no.
We can try, but again, we're supporting each other. Hey, be responsible, but also make sure it's still fun. You know, so it's about getting properties and IPs and games that we all can be excited about, but it's achievable to make.
And so these themes are not readily available; they're available for the right manufacturer. These licenses that you have, they're better suited for you and your vision.
Well, we look at what we think the fans want.
The fans,
right?
okay.
So we're looking at the fans of the IP, like, oh, we know that this fan, I mean, there's so many here today I can pick from. Bluey, for example, we know there's a lot of fans for that, but they're in the age of 8 to 6.
They don't have much money
They
for
don't have
pinball
much
machines.
money, right? But I think Bluey would be an amazing pinball machine because there's a lot of dads and mums that watch that show with their kids. But it wouldn't make financial sense to do that. But we have multiple games in development right now that we can actually do a weird, wacky IP or a game that doesn't need to keep the factory running, but it's just because it's a passion project for one of the people in the team that we can take the opportunity to do that.
And it's not arbitrary to do 750 or 1,000
No.
or two. It's a range.
No, you have to look at the IP, and you have to look at the market, and then you have to look in your crystal ball, and then make a judgment call of what do you think the right number is for that. And that's kind of where I have a little experience of calling numbers for exclusives in the G.I. Joe and Transformer world. So I learned a lot over 25 years doing that. So it's a lot of it is art more than it is science, and it's kind of because I'm guessing what the market's going to be 18 months from now.
Right,
Call a number,
right.
the shortest time frame you'll typically have is a year. You know, to call the number because you have to have things made that you can't remake. Okay, so you have to call the number for the whole thing way before the market even knows the game exists.
Is it better to make? It's better to me. It's better to make less than demand than more than demand. But you don't know the demand until you
don't know the demand.
You don't know.
So you don't know. It's kind of a best guess scenario, and that's what everybody does.
Right.
You know, everybody's looking at it. I don't care which manufacturer you are. You're looking at the market. You're looking at what your needs are as a business, and then you're figuring out what do you think the right number is. You know, and like some of the bigger manufacturers, you know, they have the advantage of being able to just leave something open for a while because they can make a whole bunch of other stuff and then come back and make a few more.
Would you be objected to that in the future, or is your philosophy, we're making 750, we're making 500?
No. It will always be, we will look at the IP and the game and just make a call what we think the market will absorb.
In one shot, you're just gonna make the game and you don't make it again.
We won't come back. We will not come back to an IP.
Correct. Wow.
So here's the thing. We could have made more money putting what we put into this company into other businesses. But we're doing this because we believe in what we're doing and we want to make cool stuff. And at the end of the day, this is about, we can make 20,000, that would be kind of nice, but there's so many good IPs and games that we can make. I would rather make 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 on one IP and then move on to the next game.
Right.
Making the game is the fun part. Like coming up with the concept.
It's the hard part.
It is the hard part. That's the fun part. That's part of my film background.
So that's the fun part for you, hard part for you.
It's for both.
For both. When you were planning the business of 750 of this machine, was the game already mostly developed by the time you picked the number? And then
no, the number on this machine is actually 1,100.
1,100.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I meant.
Shipped 750.
I don't know why I have
this year.
750.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm flipped.
So, but yeah, the addition is 1,100. If we hit 1,100, we're done. Okay.
No more.
Yeah. Now
No
there
more.
may be a point where we get to 900, 950, 1,000. We just go, nah, we're done.
We got it. Yeah.
And we're going to call it. Yeah, because the rest of the parts we had to order are now service parts.
Really?
Yeah. Remember, we're going to buy all the parts up front. We're not using customers' money,
Right.
their deposits, to pay for the building of the game. We pay for that.
That's vaporware. That's going to evaporate. Just
Yeah. Well, the only reason you ask for a deposit is I want you committed to buying the game. If you ask me to make it, I want your commitment that you're going to buy it.
right.
Okay. and that's why everybody does this. But you've had in the past people that have taken so many payments and then jacked everybody on it because they didn't have the money to do it. You know, most businesses fail because they're undercapitalized, but that is not the case in our instance.
So that's not a problem. So any current buyer or future buyer, they don't have to worry about you just stopping.
Right.
So all your orders now, they're going to be fulfilled.
Well, we're still building into next year.
Yeah, it's the next year.
Again, we've got 3 games in development right now. That doesn't include the multiple licenses that we have already written. Because we're already planning. Like, we didn't do this with a 2-year or 3-year plan. We're doing this like our game plan, our business model is 10 years.
Okay.
So we are already projecting out.
Yeah, we've got containers getting ready to go to Europe. We've already sent stuff to Australia. We just picked up a distributor in New Zealand. And we've got some people in some other countries that are talking to us now. So we're trying to make our reach, but we're pretty picky. I mean, if you look at our distributor list, it's not a whole lot.
Right.
Now, we sold 150 games direct in the beginning, and the rest we wanted through distributors because we want people out there to support our games. And we don't just pick a distributor because they're selling stuff. We pick a distributor because they have a physical location and service technicians and support. Because that's why you're getting the fees as a distributor, is to support the game and help your customer locally.
You got to make good product if people want to buy a game. And now part of that model is you have to support the customer if something goes wrong. And in pinball, something always goes wrong. Like, you always fix it. It's not the reason why we love it, you know? So it's one of those things of, we've got to have distributors that can support their customers. Now, they will come to us most likely direct, but we can always ship parts. So for example, in Australia and Europe, we're shipping parts to them. So they don't have to rely on us. Hey, first of all, shipping's really expensive, but they shouldn't have to wait 5 days for it to come from us when they can get it directly from the distributor. So it's like a 2-day turn, and it's taken care of.
Every dealer has a vested interest in your success, and you have a vested interest in their success. It's
no
mutual.
The partnership that we have here, and we see our distributors are no different than they're our family, and we got to look after them. And when times it's up, they're going to look after us. It's completely mutual.
So you're currently comfortable with the amount of parts that distributors are holding for your games, and they know your product well. Currently, like your machine well.
It's learning.
It's always a struggle.
This is our first year, so there's a lot of dealing with distributors was way more different than we initially thought it would be. So again, it's a learning curve for us because we've never done this, and we're learning how this. Remember, these distributors have been doing it for 20+ years.
Right.
They already have a way to do things. So we have to also be flexible and figure out how they do it, and we adapt to that, and vice versa. It's a symbiotic relationship.
But in terms of the sales of distributors, we're just now getting to the point where I think as of today, there's maybe 3 distributors in the whole country that might have 1 or 2 machines in stock. That's all. They haven't even stocked them yet because everything they bought is gone. It's out at a customer site.
And we're in the holiday season right now.
Yeah.
So
there's not many of them that you can just go out and go. There's a couple out there, but there's not many you can just go get them right now. Yeah. And we've seen very few on the secondhand market so far, which is good.
Who is your newest hire that's helping you with manuals? Is Dutch? Dutch is in the Butch in the house.
Butch Pill, yes. It was kind of funny.
Butch of JGP.
Yep. I saw that he retired. He stepped away from C2C, and LTG Lloyd messages because he's not officially part of us, but he's so helpful on the internet.
He's connected to all of us.
It's amazing, right? And I get a direct message from him. Because he's always trying, hey David, I'll support your game, send me a game and I'll support it. Like, I appreciate this, Lloyd. I've known Lloyd for a long time. And he goes, David, Butch is a free agent. You don't have a manual. You need Butch. Reach out to him. So, I was like, okay, well, we all know Lloyd's work. So I was like, reach out to Lloyd. Are you interested in doing this? And he's like, well, I want to spend more time with my family, blah, blah, blah. But I knew he was a collector, just like us. So I said, why don't you come down to the factory, see what we're doing, and see if we, no pressure, just come down and see what we're doing. We took him on a tour of the facility, and he's like, so I get a game, right? And I'm like, yes. And a topper? I'm like, yes. And now he's full-time doing manuals and also tech support.
Oh, because Butch Beals, manuals are no joke at JJP, and so that's you don't want any loose ends in the manual. Like, you want it all documented. So the manual helps us not have to call so much.
Well, and we know it's kind of after the fact on some of this, but again, being a startup, you know, you got to prioritize what happens first. So we will get there.
Yeah, and you know, there's things that he gets into, like the little nitty gritty. Is like, man, boys, does that really matter? Yeah, as a collector, it does, and it's just like, okay, we'll get you that. You know, but again, he cares just as much as we care, and that's what's important about what Barrels is. We're very passionate people that we have to maintain our budgets and, you know, make sure we stay focused on what we're doing, because it's very easy to kind of get distracted by the production or the development. You know, we started out with 2 people and more than, 16, 18 months. Now we're at 30 people, and I've managed film productions, but I've never had to day-to-day manage 30 people.
Real time,
like real time.
Every day,
Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. Fridays are off because we do 4 10-hour days. Fridays is kind of a cleanup day. And there's been a learning curve. Healthcare, you know, you name it. These are things I've never had to deal with, and I'm learning. And I make lots of mistakes, but we get there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've done 410s, and it's. I feel like I got more done in a 410 than 5/8.
Yeah. Well, we
mixed schedule.
Sure we got games ready to ship, so it's like if you do more at the beginning of the week, it makes the end of the week better. But transportation's a whole nother beast that we won't get into.
The second game.
When it's ready, you'll see it.
When it's ready.
When it's ready.
And so meaning when you're ready to show it at a show, or like
maybe not.
When it's ready.
Any
Just
final?
like Labyrinth, when it's ready.
Well, any final words for the internet?
Absolutely. We appreciate all the support that we've been given this last year and all the love. It really has been a lot, and it means a lot to us that y'all are out there talking about us and wishing us well and cheering us on and buying our games. So without the fandom out there is no us. So that's why, our relationships are really important.
We've trusted our family to make something really cool, and we want to, give more back. So that's where you're seeing game 2 and 3. And if we don't get you on game 2, we'll get you on game 3.
Yeah, and thanks for taking time to talk to us today.
I appreciate it much. I've been covering Iaapa for 12 years now. Funny side note, they rejected my press pass 3 years in a row because there's something called social media influencer, and because I don't do things silly on social media, influencing. But this year, instantly, they're like, yeah, you're press. You've been here 10 years. So I appreciate Iaapa letting me cover this. I mostly cover pinball. I love it. It's my living, it's your living, and we're going to keep it alive and well.
Well, Cody, thank you for stopping by, reaching out to us.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.